Let's talk about how much it sucks to be invisible online. I know. I know. You're probably like, Angel, dang, we got to go all in with the harshness. We got to go all in with the realities of what I'm feeling. Believe me, the warmth and the encouragement that I always love to give you on these episodes is coming. But along with that warmth and encouragement that I love to give you every single week, you also know, or if you don't know yet, you're about to know, I like to dive into the real. I like to be honest, no facades about what we're really going through, how we are really feeling when it comes to being creative entrepreneurs trying to build what God wants us to build. But we get stuck. We get held back. We get afraid. We're struggling with money. We're struggling with building. We're struggling with confidence. We're struggling with clarity. All the things in between. And amidst all those things comes thoughts, comes roadblocks. And on this episode, I want to talk about one of those thoughts and one of those roadblocks being, why am I so invisible online? You're trying to show up. You're trying to post that content. You're trying to be consistent, but you're like, man, it is disheartening to get no traction on all of this effort I'm putting into this. Not many likes, not many comments, not many shares. Maybe you've been trying for a while and you are getting absolutely no growth. Maybe you feel like you're not really impacting anyone or reaching anyone. It is a feeling that just straight up sucks. And here's why. It's disheartening because you finally got over your fear of doing it in the first place. You finally got over your hesitation and you're finding this consistency and persistence, and yet you're seeing no growth. You're feeling like you're not making an impact. You're feeling like your voice is just quiet out there in this noisy online world. When you have a bold message on your heart, when you're trying to do what God is calling you to do, and you're trying to build for the kingdom, right? Build a business, build it to make impact, and yes, build it so that you can lead, so that you can bring income in the door and maybe leave the current job or contract or whatever situation you're in to be and step into fully what God is calling you to be. But when there are crickets, when you're trying and ain't nobody really engaging with it, it's just tough. So let me first start off by saying, I feel like you need to hear this. I am really proud of you for trying, for finally getting up, showing up, and putting in effort. Even if it's the smallest effort, you are taking a step forward. And I need you to understand that this is an action that a lot of people do not take. They're too afraid to take that action step. You took it. You overcame that, which means that you overcame anything that the enemy was trying to do against you when it came to instilling negative thoughts in your mind about what you're not or what you'll never be, and therefore keeping you from taking that very first step in the first place. You overcame that, my friend, and I need you to be proud of your progress. And if you're struggling with feeling proud, if nobody has told you, hey, great job, let me be the one to say, hey, great job. You are trying. And a lot of times, my friend, that's what God wants to see. He wants to see you try. He wants to see you put in effort. He wants to see you put in the attempt to build a relationship with him, to do what he's calling you to do, step by step. Now, it's one thing for me to tell you, hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, you're doing a good job. It's a whole nother thing to allow some encouragement like that to inspire you enough to simply keep going. And that, my friend, is where, I'm going to be real with you, that is where the mental work, the mental healing really comes into place within yourself. When you finally start to believe that you are doing the thing, you're doing a good job. And even if you might not see yet the fruits that are being produced from the good job that you're doing, you cling tight to the hope that one day that will happen on God's timing and in God's way. When you start to believe that you're doing a good job in simply just trying, you start to get the motivation to keep going. And that is the main motivation that I want to give you in today's episode, is to keep going. Even though you are trying to share this big message, make an impact, become a leader, do what God is calling you to do and what He wants you to create in this world, even if it feels quiet, even if nobody's noticing, even if it feels invisible, even if you feel disheartened, my friend, keep going. Now, you might listen to that and you might be like, yeah, Angel, thanks so much for motivating me. I appreciate it. That's all I needed. But you also might be like, okay, and because let me be real, when I am down and I am just in a mood and someone tells me, don't give up, Angel, keep going. Sometimes I'm like, wow, yes, I needed to hear that. Thank you. Thank you for that motivation. But other times when I'm just so down, I'm just like, look, I appreciate the effort of trying to pour into me, but that is going in one ear and out the other because right now my negative thoughts are just a little too loud. So if me telling you to keep going is being drowned by the negative thoughts that you're feeling of not being good enough, maybe wanting to quit, all of those things that you know about, let me dive into some reminders that can help you keep going, some facts to keep you pushing forward. First thing, when you are showing up consistently, you're doing the thing, you're posting the content, you're taking steps day by day, you're trying the whole online thing and making an impact and it's invisible. I want you to think about this. The one person that engaged with your stuff online, think about that one person being face to face with you, having a full-on, real-time conversation. Imagine that that person is someone that you are talking to, meeting with, helping face to face. When we see one person like something, one person comment on something, one person give us a compliment, whatever it is, we tend to downplay it because we're like, oh, it's just one out of the millions of people in the online space. Oh my goodness, it's just one. That's it? No. This is a person, a human being, likely, okay? Because I know that there are bots out there. But for the most part, that's a real human being that saw your stuff, felt impacted by it, and engaged with it. Imagine that person being in the same room with you and you are taking the time to pour into them so much to the point where a seed was planted. And maybe that was all the seed that God needed you to drop in that day to that one person. Maybe that's all He wanted you to do. And in His eyes, that was enough. I had to train myself on this thought because when I was first starting out, especially with putting out my podcast, I was barely getting any listeners. And I was just like, should I even keep doing this? This is getting exhausting. I feel like I'm just shouting to a wall. But I had to look at the little 10 listeners at the time that were listening to my podcast. And I had to remind myself that this isn't little. Those are 10 human beings listening to what I am trying to say, listening to the impact that I am trying to allow God to make through me. 10 people that I can envision myself in a room with, talking to, pouring into. That is no small deed. Every human being matters. Every life was created on purpose for a purpose. And what if God chose that piece of content, that online thing, whatever it is that you're trying to put out there? What if He chose that and said, hey, I just need this to be for this specific person right here, right now? The audience and all the other people that you're wanting to come, that will come in time. But right now, I just need this one person to be impacted by it because they are ready to receive it. What if that was the case? A lot of times we don't think about that because we think about the surface level. Nobody really liked this. Nobody engaged with this. I feel invisible. I don't know if I should keep going. This isn't working. We get so caught up in that. And my friend, if you stay in that, you will end up quitting. You will end up pulling back from doing what you know that God is calling you to do. We have to remember that we do not fight flesh and blood. We are fighting spirits. We are fighting attacks that we cannot see. And you, my friend, need to wake up and realize that those negative thoughts of quitting what you know for a fact God is calling you to do, that is the enemy. So what does it look like to start being joyful in the one person that engaged with your stuff, the one person that saw it, versus all the other people that you feel like are viewing you as invisible. What about that one person, those few people that aren't, that are seeing it, that are engaging with it, that are in the slightest or in the biggest way impacted by it? And maybe, just maybe, that was all the seed that God needed you to plant for that day. And that, my friend, is good enough. You will grow. You will get there. Keep showing up. Keep being consistent. As you do, day by day, it's good enough. Let it be good enough and have hope for growth to take place in the near future. God's way, God's timing. Now, that brings me to my second point, because we have to be really careful when it comes to growth. When we grow, whether it's we grow our money, we grow our audiences online, we grow anything that has to do with raising up our status, we unintentionally start to glorify ourselves because it becomes about you. You have this large audience now, and you scaled your income to all this money now, and it starts to become about you to the point where selfishness unintentionally takes over. When we get selfish, when we start glorifying ourselves, we deem ourselves, we deem our businesses as an idol, what we prioritize, what we chase after over everything else. That is where we need to be careful when it comes to growth. So my next reminder for you, my friend, is to remember that this is not for your glory. This is for God's glory. I know you want to build up that audience. I know you want to make that money. I know you want to grow that thing, but it's not for your glory. It's not for people to glorify you and idolize you. It is for God's glory, to make space for people to glorify God, to see God through the impact that you want to make in your own unique way in your industry based on what God is calling you to do. He is using you as a vessel, wants to use you as a vessel to speak through you, to make impact to other people that need God. And God can creatively go about this in so many ways. What you say and how you say it based off of the industry that he's calling you to be in. How do you relate it to the audience that God is calling you to make an impact for? Are you more bold and front-facing? Are you more discreet and meeting people where they're at? There are so many ways that God can work in and through you in order to impact the people around you, all to glorify him and to plant a seed to others. So the next time you find yourself posting something, putting something up online, putting in effort, and you just feel like you're invisible, you feel like it's getting crickets, I need you to tell yourself, I am doing this to glorify God, not to glorify me. And if that is a hard thing for you to even say, then that means that you are unintentionally glorifying yourself. You want the praise, you want the likes, you want the look and feel of a really strong, big audience. You want that for yourself. Heart check, because business God's way has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what God wants to do through you, calling you to be a leader, to make impact for others. That doesn't mean that you won't benefit from it. That doesn't mean that God won't bless you. That doesn't mean that you won't see the fruits of that labor. God has blessed me in so many ways, given me more than what I deserve. But it's the heart position. Am I leading with, hey, I want more, I need status, I need more money, this audience is all about me and it's for me? Am I leading with that intentionality? Or am I leading with, you know what, I'm going to show up to glorify God because I'm doing what he's calling me to do. I don't care if one person sees it or nobody sees it or 100,000 people see it. I don't care, because at the end of the day, I am doing this to glorify God. And if he has called me to it, he will see it through on his timing. All I have to do is keep going. Now, let me say this too. Glorifying God in what you are doing right now, in that business, in that book, in that creative project, glorifying God means that you are content with whatever outcome he wishes to produce to you. Meaning, let's say you're consistently going all in when it comes to your online content. You are not giving up. You've been doing this for years. And let's say that by the end of your life, you didn't really grow that big of an audience at all. Will that be enough for you? That's a hard question because a lot of us are striving for growth to see an outcome that has to do with a numerical result, money or audience growth, growing our customers, growing our clients, growing our online audience, growing our sales, all the things. But what if God gives you just a little bit of that or just enough, or maybe it's not the big old goal that you thought it would be, but it's enough? What if that is his plan all along at the end of your life, is to just give you this, to have you reach this? The reason why I'm saying that is because we should learn to be content with whatever God produces as the outcome for us. Now, on the other end, he could produce big results, a following that you never would have thought have happened, income that blows your mind, so much so to the point where you don't know what to do with it, to the point where you are overflowing. That could be the possibility too. Now, I believe that God wants to give everyone overflow. However, I believe that the kind of overflow he gives us all is going to vary person to person, capacity to capacity, mission to mission, calling to calling. It just depends. What I am saying is, it's God's way. It's his way. It's his timeline. It's his path. No matter what, are we going to choose to be content with that? Because we believe that no matter the numerical result of anything, we will be taken care of. God has got us. We are glorifying him in doing what he's called us to do, no matter the numbers. No matter the numbers. So yes, set your goals on the growth that you're trying to get to, put in that effort, but make sure that your heart is in the right place as you pursue your growth goals. Glorify God, not yourself. Glorify God, not the numbers. Last thing that I'll say, you need to remember that most people start out this way. Some of the most successful people that you know to this day that have large followings or they make great money and it seems like all of their online content is making this huge impact and it's gaining so much traction. Those people, a lot of them started with nothing, started from nothing. They might have been homeless, sleeping in their cars. They might have been way deep in debt and pulling the last of their savings to try to invest money in equipment to create videos. They might have started a podcast that completely flopped and then quit it and then went a whole different route just to refine their persistence and finally succeed in a whole nother content channel. You don't know these people's stories. All you see is successful YouTubers and successful podcasters and successful Instagrammers and successful salespeople. That's all you see is, oh, they're successful. They have a lot of subscribers. They do this, they do that. What about me? They have a story too, my friend. They struggled at one point too, my friend. Who are we to compare ourselves to the lives of other people when we don't even know the struggle that those people went through too? Everyone starts somewhere. Everyone starts a lot of times with nothing. Everyone starts a lot of times just feeling and seeming and coming off as completely invisible. The difference is that they kept going. They did not give up. When they failed, they got up. When they tested and it didn't work, they pivoted and they tried it again, over and over and over again. If God is calling you to that thing, pursue it with persistence. Pursue it in a way that does not compare you to other people. Pursue it in a way where you remember that everyone starts here at some point in time. You are in your season of that starting period, which means that if you stick with it, if you learn to overcome it, if you learn to walk hand in hand with God through it, you will be okay. You will see the fruits produced out of that. So keep testing, keep trying, keep learning, keep understanding what works and what doesn't work, and just keep it up at the end of the day. All in all, my friend, the next time you feel like quitting because you just feel like you're so invisible and nobody is hearing you, you're just trying to make this thing work and you're trying to build it, but man, it's disheartening because it's just not reaching anybody. I need you to remember these 3 things. Everyone starts here. You are in that season. Work through it. You will be strengthened because of it. Glorify God. The purpose of you doing this, or what should be the purpose of you doing this, is to glorify God, not yourself and not the numbers. That should be good enough. You should trust in that enough to know that God will take care of you. He will see it through. Growth will happen on His timing in His way, where He sees fit for you. And lastly, just imagine that even one person that engaged with your stuff, that one listener, that one viewer, that one like, that one comment, that one share, that one DM, that is a human being that God chose for you to plant a seed to on that day through that piece of content. And that is enough. I hope that this episode encouraged you enough to no longer feel embarrassed about coming off as seemingly invisible, to no longer allow what feels like invisibility to keep you down or to make you want to quit, but to instead, it rises up a fire in you to keep it up, to keep showing up, to smile all throughout it, to glorify God, to know that He's got it. Keep it up, my friend. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune into this week's episode. If you want more topics like this, we are always taking episode topic requests. I know I see quite a few of you talk about wanting to build confidence and trying to find clarity and whatever it is that's on your heart in regards to how you can finally do what God is calling you to do. Business tips, mindset tips, whatever it is, go ahead and submit that topic request right down below in the show notes or in the YouTube description where you're watching this video. We would love to consider it. We would love to plan ahead for it. And in the very near future, do a podcast all about it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you soon.